We got a readout of your call with Vladimir Putin, and it was a fairly optimistic take. Vladimir Putin agreed to a ceasefire immediately on energy and infrastructure,
right,
but not to a 30-day ceasefire. Tell us what happened.
Well, you have a situation where you have a lot of guns pointing at each other foolishly, because it would have never happened if I were president. That was not a war that was supposed to happen. And it did happen. So that's where we are. And right now, you have a lot of guns pointing at each other. And a ceasefire without going a little bit further would have been tough. Russia has the advantage, as you know. They have encircled about 2,500 soldiers. They're nicely encircled, and that's not good. And we want to get it over with. Look, we're doing this.
This is my video update on this Wednesday afternoon, March the 19th, coming to you from Nicosia, Cyprus. Let's talk about some news. And we are going to start things off with the Trump-Putin phone call. What else are we going to talk about? So the phone call between Trump and Putin, from what I understand, lasted 2.5 hours, which would make it the longest phone call in history between a U.S. president and a Russian president. And the key takeaways from this phone call was a 30-day energy infrastructure ceasefire. So no hitting of the energy infrastructure of Ukraine, of Russia for 30 days. They're going to discuss a ceasefire where it concerns the Black Sea as well, but nothing was agreed on. They're going to talk about that, and then they're going to further talk about a 30-day ceasefire in the future. Once again, nothing was agreed on. But the energy ceasefire, that was agreed, and Putin actually put an order immediately to the Russian military to not attack Ukraine's energy infrastructure. We're just talking about the energy infrastructure. That is it. The other key takeaways were a prisoner exchange is going to take place, and talks, bilateral talks is, I think, the main takeaway. I would say this is the big takeaway from these discussions. The United States and Russia are negotiating terms to this conflict. That is the key takeaway. Not Russia and Ukraine, not Russia and Ukraine and the European Union. Russia and the United States are in bilateral talks to wind down the conflict in Ukraine. I think that is the key takeaway from this phone call. We got the Russian readout. That was very quick to come out. The Russian readout, which shows that the Russian side, they wanted to get the readout to the public quickly, probably to prevent any type of fake news or speculation. So they put out their readout about an hour after the phone call concluded. Then we got the U.S. readout as well. Putin mentioned to Trump how Elensky and Ukraine, they cannot be trusted. He talked about that, which is not good if you're the Green Goblin, to have the Russian president tell the president of the United States, we agree to a 30-day pause on the energy infrastructure. We agree to continuing negotiations, to bilateral talks, to all of these things, but just be aware of Ukraine, be aware of the Elensky regime. Take a look at what they did in Kursk. So that was in the Russian readout. They also talked about the Middle East. That was mentioned in the Russian readout, I believe also in the U.S. readout as well. Russia can absolutely help the Trump administration with regards to the Middle East, especially in dealing with Iran. And then they talked about hockey, a hockey match, a USA-Russia hockey match, which is an excellent idea. It really is an excellent idea to have a hockey match between the United States and Russia. But that was the phone call. That was the readout that we got from the Russian side, and pretty much a similar type of readout from the White House. There's going to be no Minsk 3. That was one thing that I got out of the readouts. Russia is not going to be fooled into any type of Minsk 3. Putin remains firm on Istanbul Plus, on June 2024 terms, getting to the root causes of the conflict. He did not give an inch to Trump. Did not give an inch to the United States when it comes to a general ceasefire, when it comes to any of the ideas that were floating out there about some sort of overall general pause in the fighting, which would allow Ukraine to rearm and rebuild fortifications and resupply and stuff like that. Putin's not falling for any of this stuff. What we got is an energy pause, which, when you break it down, as Alexander broke it down in the live stream that we did yesterday, following the publication of the Russian readout on the Duran, you can check out that video on the Duran channel. Alexander noted that the energy pause, this 30-day pause in hitting energy infrastructure, is to the benefit of Russia. Putin gave nothing away by agreeing to this term, and he actually helps out Trump. So Trump comes out winning because he can go back to the American people and he could say, what I achieved through dialogue with the Russian president is I achieved a pause, a 30-day pause in hitting the energy infrastructure of Ukraine. So that's a W for the Trump White House, and that's how they're going to present it. They achieved something significant in the dialogue with Russia. What Russia gets from the 30-day pause is that they give away nothing. Because, as Alexander was explaining, the Russian strikes on Ukraine energy happen every 1 to 2 months. And Russia already hit Ukraine's energy infrastructure a couple of weeks back. So they weren't going to be planning any strikes on Ukraine's energy infrastructure over the next month or so. This doesn't impact the military situation for Russia one bit. So they actually give nothing to Ukraine. They give nothing to the United States. They end up helping Trump. Trump goes to the American people and he says that he got a significant concession from Russia. What Russia gains is that Ukraine cannot send drones into Russia to hit the energy infrastructure of Russia. The drone pinprick attacks that hit oil depots and stuff like that in Russia, that's going to have to stop. So Russia does gain something significant out of this. And for Ukraine, they come out the big loser because they're not going to be allowed to send these drones into Russia. For the Elensky regime, these drones going into Russia provide the Elensky regime with good PR, because they use these attacks to show that they can strike into Russian territory. And then they go to the European Union and the United States and they say, look, you see, we can still hit Russian territory. So give us more money, give us more weapons. We've still got a chance in this conflict. So the fact that they're not going to be able for 30 days to send the drones into Russia is going to actually work against the Elensky regime, at least when it comes to their information war, to their PR. So Russia wins there. Ukraine loses. And if Ukraine breaks this this 30-day ceasefire on energy infrastructure, then it's going to look really bad for the Green Goblin. So a big L for Ukraine and for Elensky on this 30-day pause on energy infrastructure. And so that was the phone call. That was the phone call. Bilateral talks to solve the conflict in Ukraine between Russia and the United States. They're going to set up teams to get cracking on the next steps to trying to resolve the conflict in Ukraine. But the U.S. and Russia, as it should be, because at the end of the day, this was and this is a proxy war between the United States and Russia, between the collective West and Russia. So Maria Zakharova, she posted on Telegram, the EU kept saying that the ball is in Moscow's court. As it turns out, it was a hockey puck and it's in play. Very clever post from Zakharova. Should I read you some of the Russian statement on the phone call? You can find it everywhere. Actually, you can find the Russian readout. You can find the US readout all over social media, X, Telegram. Regarding President Trump's initiative for a 30-day ceasefire, the Russian side highlighted key concerns, including effective monitoring of the ceasefire across the entire front line, halting forced mobilization in Ukraine, and stopping the rearmament of its military. Russia also noted serious risks due to Kiev's history of undermining previous agreements and drew attention to terror attacks carried out by Ukraine militants against civilians in the Kursk region. It was emphasized that a crucial condition for preventing further escalation and working toward a political diplomatic resolution is the complete cessation of foreign military aid and intelligence sharing with Ukraine. The points that Putin made a couple of days ago when he was meeting with Lukashenko, he just repeated these points once again this time to President Trump on the phone call. During the conversation, Trump proposed a mutual agreement between both sides to refrain from striking energy infrastructure for 30 days. Putin welcomed the initiative and immediately instructed the Russian military to comply. Then they talked about something similar with the Black Sea, but they didn't agree on anything. They talked about a prisoner exchange. Putin and Trump also discussed broader international issues, including the situation in the Middle East and the Red Sea region. And both leaders expressed mutual interest in normalizing bilateral relations, recognizing the shared responsibility of Russia and the United States in ensuring global security and stability. In this context, they explored various areas of potential cooperation, including discussions on mutually beneficial economic and energy partnership. Trump supported Putin's idea of organizing hockey matches in the US and Russia between players from the NHL and KHL. I'm having a little difficulty reading today. I was just at the eye doctor's, so I got those drops, which make it a little difficult to read, but we'll get through this video. From the US side of things, it was pretty much the same readout as the Russian readout. At the end of the US readout, they say the two leaders agreed that a future with an improved bilateral relationship between the United States and Russia has a huge upside. This includes enormous economic deals and geopolitical stability when peace has been achieved. Business. They're talking about doing business when all of this is wrapped up. Trump was on Fox News on Laura Ingram's show, and he said the call went well. He said the call with the Russian president went well, and He also mentioned that Russia has the advantage militarily. He said that there are 2,500 soldiers, Ukraine soldiers, trapped in Kursk. I don't know what's going on in Kursk. I really don't. Trump said there's 2,500 soldiers trapped in Kursk. Yesterday, I read a post from Patrick, which said that there are soldiers trapped in Kursk, but small pockets of soldiers trapped in Kursk. We got reports from The Economist that most of the soldiers trapped in Kursk managed to get out on foot, barely get out on foot. And then 3-4 days ago, we were getting reports that there were 4,000 to 7,000 soldiers trapped in Kursk, as well as an article from RIA Novosti saying that there were 30 NATO officials who were also trapped in Kursk. So I don't know what the situation is in Kursk. I really don't know. Anyway, that's what Trump said. He said 2,500 Ukraine soldiers surrounded in Kursk. What else? What else happened yesterday? Elensky's response, the Green Goblin's response. What an interesting response from the Green Goblin. He's not happy. He was not happy with the phone call, that's for sure. Not happy with the readout. But look, if you're not at the dinner table, then you're on the menu, right? That's the saying, isn't it? If you're not at the dinner table, then you're on the menu. And at the dinner table is the United States and Russia. Ukraine is not at the dinner table. The European Union is not at the dinner table. 008 Keir Starmer, not at the dinner table, so they must be on the menu. And that's pretty much what Elensky said. I'm not joking here. That's pretty much what he said. He said that Ukraine is not going to be Putin's salad. Zelensky said, we are not a salad or a compote to be on Putin's menu, regardless of his appetite. Regardless of his appetite, yeah. That's what he said. That's a quote from Elensky. He also said that that Russia is planning a big attack. Possible, probable. He mentioned that. And what else did he say? He said that everything is going well in Kursk. I don't get it, man. Yeah, he said everything is going great in Kursk. As if there's some Ukrainian operation that's still taking place in Kursk, and for Elensky, Kursk is still a bargaining chip that he's going to use in some future imaginary negotiations that he's going to have with Putin and with Russia. That's what he said, the Green Goblin. He doesn't want to be Putin's salad. Can't make this stuff up. You really cannot make this stuff up. Maria Zakharova, she replied to Elensky's statement, his salad statement, and she said, for once, he did not lie. The Kiev regime isn't a salad or a compote. It's what the menu's contents turn into after digestion. Oh man, that's pretty brutal. Medvedev, he picked up on this salad remark, and he said, the phone call between Presidents Putin and Trump proved a well-known idea. There is only Russia and America in the dining room. On the menu, light appetizers, Brussels sprouts, British fish and chips, and Paris rooster. The main course is a Kiev-style cutlet. Enjoy your meal. Bro, that's brutal, man, from Medvedev and from Zakharova. But Elensky, he was talking about salad. He was talking about salad. And so they jumped on his remarks. So that was Elensky and what he said. And just to be clear, the front lines, the military activity is going to continue, including airstrikes. The only thing that's off that you cannot target is for both sides is energy infrastructure. That's what's off the table. Everything else is going to continue, including Russia's advance across the entire front line. And the situation for the Ukraine military is really bad. Alexander mentions this all the time, that he has a feeling that the situation for the Ukraine military is a lot worse than they're letting on. So everything on the front line is going to continue. The conflict continues. It's the energy infrastructure that we're going to have a 30-day pause, and the United States and Russia are going to work together on all the other issues, even beyond Ukraine. One of the Russian officials, Kirill Dmitriev, I believe, Kirill Dmitriev, he said that Russia would like to work with Elon Musk on space stuff and Mars and all of these things. So a normalization of relations between the United States and Russia, that's what continues. But, the Europeans and the Elensky regime and the UK, 008 Starmer, they're going to try and sabotage all of this. I think over the next couple of months, we're going to be at the most dangerous time of this conflict, because the Europeans, the UK, and Ukraine, SBU, Budanov, they are going to do their very best to try and sabotage all of the diplomacy, false flags, stuff like that, using the media to put out fake news and fake stories. Trump is a Putin stooge. All of these things are gonna go into hyperdrive. So be prepared for a very bumpy 2 months, 1, 2, 3 months ahead of us. So let's shift gears and talk about BlackRock Merz. Should we talk about BlackRock Merz and Macron and the European reaction to everything that happened yesterday? BlackRock Merz, he announced that Russia is declaring war on Europe. Russia has declared war on Europe. That's pretty much what BlackRock Merz said yesterday. Merz stated that Russia's current war extends far beyond Ukraine and affects all of Europe. The new chancellor, like his predecessor, is betting on militarization, preparing to spend a €1 trillion credit on armaments. Yeah, so yesterday was a big announcement from BlackRock Merz, and that is the German parliament. They've agreed to remove the debt brake on spending for infrastructure and for military, and so BlackRock Merz is going to pour something like €1 trillion euros or $1 trillion into military spending and infrastructure spending over the next 10 years is his plan. And so we're talking about a lot of debt, a lot of borrowing, and no famous German debt brake on any of this stuff. I read one report, which from DW actually, German state propaganda. They said that over the next 10 years, the debt to GDP of Germany, which is at about 62%, could very well rise to over 90% debt to GDP because of all of the borrowing and the spending that's about to take place. And we're talking about BlackRock Merz. We're not talking about a military guy. We're not talking about an industrialist or or someone who understands industry or industrialization or anything like that. We're talking about a BlackRock guy, a finance guy. What he is going to do is he is going to complete the project of German deindustrialization into German financialization, as well as creating big funds for the German military-industrial complex. Not that they're going to build a huge army or anything like that, but the MIC companies are going to tap into these very big funds, and they're going to make a lot of money off of government contracts. That's what I see happening in Germany. Financialization. From industrialization, deindustrialization, to now BlackRock financialization, because he's BlackRock Mertz, and you know, BlackRock is going to do what BlackRock does best. So Germany is in big trouble over the next 10 years, in very big trouble. So that was Mertz's his response to all of this. Macron, he is calling for more Europe, more spending into the Brussels center. Following the conversation between Trump and Putin, Macron called on France and Europe to arm themselves to avoid war. Military defense funds into Brussels. That's what Macron is calling for. Yep, defense military spending in Europe managed by Ursula von der Leyen. Oh boy. We all know the job that she did when she was German defense minister. how good of a job she did when she was the German defense minister. What do you think is going to happen in the European Union with Ursula von der Leyen managing close to a 1 trillion euro fund on defense spending? We are looking at a disaster for the European Union. But they are going to borrow, and they're going to issue euro bonds, and they're going to push for more centralization, and they're going to try and push this geopolitical project closer to some sort of United States of Europe model. That's the ultimate goal. Controlling the financial, controlling the political, controlling the judicial, and of course you have to control the guns, the weapons. So controlling the military, all in Brussels, all in the center. Controlled by Brussels HQ. So what about the coalition of the willing? What about that coalition of the willing that Starmer put together? How's that working out? Well, it looks like the coalition of the willing is now the coalition of 3, because countries are dropping out of the coalition of the willing, which is going to, according to Starmer, send 30,000 troops into Ukraine once a ceasefire is agreed on, and they're going to enter Ukraine and keep the peace. That remains Starmer's plan. He has Macron signed up to this plan, and he has Denmark signed up to this plan, and that's about it. That is about it. All the other countries in the collective West, in Europe, are dropping out of the coalition of the willing. At least that's how it looks. Meloni of Italy, she rejects the Franco-British plan to deploy troops to Ukraine. Prime Minister Meloni has described the idea as complex, risky, and ineffective. From what I read, Spain is not so hot on this idea. Hungary, obviously, has no interest in this idea. Slovakia, no interest in this idea. Even Poland is not so hot on sending troops to Ukraine. And if Poland is not hot on the idea of sending troops to Ukraine, doesn't look good for the coalition of the willing. So you have three countries pretty much in this coalition of the willing. That's it. Three countries, the UK, France, and Denmark. And of the three countries, Denmark, what is Denmark going to do? They're already preparing for some sort of smash with the United States and Greenland, right? That's what they're talking about. We're going to have some sort of smash with the US and Greenland. So is Denmark also going to be in Ukraine? Is Denmark going to be fighting a two-front war? I'm exaggerating, I'm joking, but I mean, come on. Anyway, Denmark's given a lot of money to the Green Goblin, a whole lot of money to the Green Goblin. But as far as their military, forget about it. The UK military, well, we know about the UK military. Everyone knows about the UK military. They have no chance of sending a significant force into Ukraine that's going to challenge or scare the Russian military. Not going to happen. So really what you're left with is France. France has a good military, I think. Probably one of the better militaries in Europe. So France can take an active role in the coalition of the willing in Ukraine, keeping the peace in Ukraine, right? The French military, that's what the coalition of the willing is going to depend on. Flip-flopper Macron, right? I can see it now. They're about to send 30,000 troops into Ukraine. And Macron calls Starmer. And he says, Starmer, my man. You know, the 30,000 troops in Ukraine, I think we're not going to take part in this operation. And Keir Starmer's going to be like, come on, man. You said you're going to contribute 20,000 troops. Without you, I don't have any troops to send to Ukraine. Macron's going to say, sorry, I changed my mind. And then the next day, Macron's going to call up Keir Starmer. He's going to say, you know, Keir, I think I will send troops to Ukraine, but not 20,000. I'll send 15,000. Is that okay? And Keir Starmer's going to say, yeah, okay, 15,000. I'll work with that. And then they're going to be on the border in Romania, the UK military, and they're going to be waiting for the French military, and they're going to be, where's France? Where is France? And then Macron's going to call Keir Starmer, and he's going to say, look, bro, sorry, man, but I changed my mind. I'm not going to take part in this operation. They're going to be, oh my God. And then 3 weeks later, Macron's going to call up Keir Starmer when the whole thing's been aborted. He's going to call up Keir Starmer. He's going to say, remember when you were talking about the 30,000 troops in Ukraine? Yeah, that's kind of a good idea. That's going to be flip-flop Macron, flip-flopper Macron, man. Oh, boy. Even if they do enter Ukraine, what are they going to do there? What are they going to be able to hold? What is the French UK military going to do that the Ukraine military, which is a much more powerful battle tested? I mean, they've been fighting this war. What are they going to do that the Ukraine military has not been able to do? Anyway, we'll see how all of this unfolds. It's not looking good for the coalition of three. So the JFK files, but you are talking about Starmer, and he is getting desperate, and there's a lot of panic, so he just might go ahead with this plan. Don't rule this out. Do not rule this out. But we'll wait and see. Anyway, the JFK files were released. Have I shown you this church? It's a nice church, huh? It's about to rain today, but it's a beautiful church in Cyprus. I believe this is St. George. So what do you guys think of the JFK files? They were released, not redacted, which was interesting. Tulsi Gabbard announced the release of the JFK files, I think 1,000-something pages. So I haven't really had a chance to get into what what the documents say, but from what I understand, it does reveal some CIA stuff going on with JFK, some CIA involvement. There's one sentence here from one of the documents. A small clique within the CIA was responsible for the assassination. That's what I'm reading from X, this page that was posted on X. Of course, I haven't had a chance to really look into the analysis of these documents. But at least we got the files released without redactions. So I think that's good. I think that's a positive. So let's do a clown world and we can wrap this video up. And this clown world is courtesy of none other than Annalena 360. Germany, once again, making a clown world. And I say Germany because Germany, Pirate Schultz, they are going to put Annalena's name forward as the next president of the General Assembly of the United Nations. I think I have that right. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up the article and let me see if I can make this out. The German Foreign Office informed Chancellor Olaf Scholz's office and other ministries Monday of its intention to propose Baerbock for the post of UN General Assembly President, according to domestic media outlets including Spiegel and DPA. Baerbock could take over the role, not to be confused with that of the UN Secretary General Guterres, in early June for a 1-year term, as internal UN agreements will see the position held by the Western Europeans and other groups, including Germany, in the upcoming General Assembly session. The position has significantly less external impact than the top job, Spiegel noted, as the president's main task is to represent the UN member countries as a whole and deliver one of the first speeches at the annual meeting of heads of state and government. So it's not such an important position in the UN, and it's a 1-year position, so it rotates every year. And from what I understand, it rotates and a country is picked from a certain region. And I believe the year that's ending, it was Africa. And now it's going to be a representative from Europe. And so the name is Annalena Baerbock to become president of the General Assembly for 1 year. And she's going to give a speech and basically look after the UN General Assembly. That's pretty much what the position is about. And I hope she gets it. I really, really, really hope she gets it. Because that would mean, which way should I go? Actually, let's go this way. That would mean a year of clown worlds, right? Yeah. 1 full year of Annalena 360 clown worlds. So let's all hope that Annalena gets this position. Russia has already said that they're against this. Come on, Russia. Why are you against this? Russia rejects Baerbock's UN candidacy because of her NAZI reference. Yeah, this goes back to when Annalena said something about her grandfather or something like that was fighting against Russia. I forgot the exact quote that she put out there. But yeah, in Kaliningrad, her grandfather was fighting against the Russians, the Soviet Union in Kaliningrad. Anyway, Russia is saying, no, we're not going to allow Annalena to become president. I say, come on, Russia, what are you doing, man? You're going to ruin my clown world segments. Come on, just give me this. Just give me this one thing. Russian Foreign Ministry, 1 year of Annalena United Nation clown world segments. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. theduran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and X. Go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch, like what I'm wearing in this video update. Got a shirt, got a hoodie. And I will see everybody tomorrow. The link to Duran's shop is in the description box down below. Take care.